And I quote, "I'll be there in a minute. Give me a second."
Time is relative, folks. Time is relative.
Yes. So, hey, cheers to everybody in the chat. They're a division rival. I don't care how many wins they get. Screw them.
That wasn't the take I was expecting to hear.
I want to gush over watching live Chris Tanev.
I think that we completely underestimate the skill it takes to play defense.
One highlight or several highlights does not a Calder trophy make.
I'm stepping in here. I'm going to be the crotchety old man here. They need to learn patience. They need to understand the tension, everything, and the drama.
How dare! Look at this. How is McDavid not getting a penalty?
You guys need to calm down with this, okay? You guys need to calm down.
Well, we will absolutely calm down if you wish to hear Tyler. Welcome to the Shifts and Pucks podcast. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com, Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com, Shifts and Pucks, if it's up. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, and the Hockey Podcast Network, where with player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. I am here with Tyler. Hello, Tyler. And you're at least you are appropriately dressed, unlike some.
I haven't gotten a chance to wear this very much, but it was a lovely Christmas present, and I'm wearing it now. So
nice. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm great, thank you. We did get some snow return here, but thankfully not like full-blown storm. We're back into a little Arctic outflow for a couple of days. So all the people that thought spring was here, yeah, Mother Nature had other ideas for us.
It's middle of February.
I know. It was very spring-like even just on Friday. I mean, it's getting, it's lighter out now in the morning and a little later into the day, and it's nice. It's feeling nice to be outside again, but we're not quite out of the woods yet.
It's always kind of spring now. I've always kind of felt that this was sort of the start of spring. It's kind of mid-February, but we'll let the seasons dictate us.
Maybe if you live in Vancouver area, Kevin.
Yes, well, you who live in Calgary and deal with 20 below.
The rest of fucking Canada, spring doesn't start till April.
Well, here it teases.
Can you understand that?
Yes, it goes for 4 days. You go back to winter, and then you may get a little bit more spring, and then depending on I'm well aware why you're in the West Coast.
That's why he left Calgary. He had enough of that crap, enough of that shit, as you'd call it.
I mean, it's minus 17 before wind chill today, and then the wind is like 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, it's plus 4 here, and people.
Which would have put a bit of a damper on had the Olympics been here, because this is where the Olympics should have been in 2026.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of that's very true. It should have been in Calgary. I think there was. Yeah, that's a whole.
It's a whole podcast in itself.
It's a whole podcast.
It really is.
Yeah, because that's an epic civic failure. Anyway, but that's a podcast for another time.
Almost as bad as the water pipe issue here in Calgary.
Oh,
yeah. It's in our, like, when we do the Vancouver Calgary broadcast. That's been lingering in the Calgary part of our broadcast for a little too long. But that's hope you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
This was a really terrible week. I guess there's no other way to say it. It's tough to start this way, but we really need to start with this. Of course, we do need to start, and we'll expand on this in another when the Canucks come back. But Jim Robson passed away a week ago at the age of 91. An absolute legend in the Vancouver market, and probably if he's not on your play-by-play Mount Rushmore in Canada, he should be pretty damn close to it. Just the tributes. It was so great to see Canucks Twitter finally united in some sort of cause of good the last week, paying tribute to Jim Robson. But that was a very sad to hear that, and just was kind of a stunner. It felt like a bit of a shock, although 91 is a well-lived life. I think it just rocked a lot of people. If you guys have anything to quickly say about that.
Well, what a legacy that he left behind for not just Canucks Nation and hockey in this province, but nationally as well. Covered 3 Stanley Cup Finals for Hockey Night in Canada, and I think it was 75, 80, and 82. And then you see the lineage of Canucks broadcasters that have followed Jim Robson with Jim Hewson, John Shorthouse, and now Brendan Batchelor. We should know it's Rick Ball in there as well. Did games for a little while. All of those guys that still have parts of Jim Robson's style of commentary in their commentary, and they're all doing very well. Tremendous loss for the province and for hockey. Jim Robson was a gentleman, and people can recite verbatim some of those calls from the 1994 run too. Like they left that kind of an impact on people of our age and maybe even a little bit younger, but certainly people from our vintage.
I mean, yeah, Marie-Philippe Plan will play in the gold medal game. She'll play. It's voice of a generation, voice of multiple generations, mentor to all that Tyler mentioned that followed him, and 91 is a great life, but it still did come across as a shock, and it was he's going to be missed.
Yeah.
He was just acknowledged by the Canucks a few weeks ago for his 91st birthday. He was looking all right, waving at the screen, but
his memory was good too. He was still reciting, like it was quite amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I do think, I know that this was mostly a provincial story, but I do think it should have been more of a national story than the national sports networks made it out to be. As Tyler mentioned, he called 3 Stanley Cup Finals. He's in the Hall of Fame. Yes. And he is absolutely an influence across this country. Rick Ball is calling games right now in Chicago with the Blackhawks. Shorthouse, Batchelor, it's not the only 3. Dave Randorf, by the way, influenced by Jim Robson as well.
That's a good one. Yep.
And then shortly after that, there's no other way to put it, just a gut-wrenching situation in Tumbler Ridge. We're not going to get into it. This is not the podcast for it. You can find the political podcast if you want to talk about it, but it's a horrendous tragedy. Just kids dying far too young, and just the heartbreak that community is going to go through for a long time is just going to be unspeakable. So I just want to give a shout out to the community of Tumbler Ridge tonight. We're still thinking about you. It's absolutely awful. And then yesterday, on Monday, we learned of a situation in Rhode Island where a father shot, at least 3 people were killed, and then he ended his own life at a hockey game. Unfortunately, that video has been posted and retweeted, which I wish it wasn't, but we cannot control stupidity. But we're thinking of them. It's just a pretty awful week for a lot of people, and life is precious. Tell everybody you love them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're focusing. The prelim here is over for Team Canada. We are now in the quarterfinal round, as the for the next round has now been set, and Canada will be playing Czechia as they defeated Denmark 3-2. But let's look back. They played Czechia first. They shut them out 5-0. Then they beat Switzerland 5-1. And in a game that I don't think the Canadians were ultimately that excited to play, they did beat France 10-2. I think that they were not entirely interested in playing that game, and I think, unfortunately, for France has had to be a game that the Canada needed to win by good difference due to goal differential. But kind of maybe get your guys' thoughts. What were some of your takeaways from Canada from the start?
Go ahead, Sean. You can go first on that.
Just another. You can tell that it's a Sidney Crosby led team. It's a Nathan McKinnon led team. It's a Connor McDavid led team where it's business. When they're on the ice, it's business, and they're playing the right way. They're playing smart, and they're letting the top end skills show through. I think we looked at this team and going into this tournament, felt like maybe the Americans might have been a slight favorite over Team Canada if you were to really sort of parse through things. But we were also very biased and said Canada was going to win anyways. But I think if you just look at how this team's playing and how they're built, yeah, they may not have like the true like top end blue liners that the Americans do, but up front, like they just have gamers and they have big game players. Like that's what it is. It's a big stage and those guys are showing up.
The focus level is pretty impressive, isn't it? And yeah, everything that Sean talked about there has factored into that. The continuity from the roster and the coaching staff going back to the Four Nations face-off last year, that's been very helpful. I will say it was a little bit unfortunate that the France match didn't take place after the USA-Germany match, because then they would have known what the necessary goal differential ask would have been had the games taken place in that order. And at 10-2, it did start to get a little ugly at the end there. And Nathan McKinnon taking a bit of a cheap shot that led to the fight with that, I don't know how you say, Pierre Crinon, however the guy is that fought with Tom Wilson. But that then led to him going a little theatrical on the way off the ice after getting a game misconduct. The French Federation then disciplining that. So there was a little bit of fallout from the end of that blowout. And I mean, yes, the goal differential is part of the rules, but it doesn't mean that the team on the wrong side of that's not going to feel embarrassed at some point. And it kind of got to that point. And then the other takeaway is it really just sucks to see what happened to Kevin Fiala there on Friday when he went down. I wouldn't suggest people go and look at the video. It was pretty gruesome what occurred there and him being stretchered off. And, I mean, the sportsmanship of both teams on the ice tapping the sticks when he was leaving was heartwarming in its own way. But the last thing we want to see in terms of keeping NHL participation at this event is something like that. And that's probably the end of. I would think that's the end of the season.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
it's fractured. I think by the way, not fractured. Yeah.
It's just that's hockey though, right?
Yeah.
And that's just. I think was it Tavares that got it?
Yeah.
Last time the NHLers were in the Olympics, like it can happen. Unfortunately, that's just the unfortunate thing. That could have happened in a Washington Capitol versus LA Kings game if there wasn't the Olympics. Yeah. And I think you have to look at it. I think this is, regardless of it, this is a big, big boost for the NHL to have the players there, and the players want to be there. And the way they are playing and the level of hockey that we're seeing shows that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I echo your guys' thought that like it's been very clear to me that the most focused team here has been Canada. They've had the most. Then I mean, I guess we're Canadian and maybe there's a bit of bias to it, but it's really hard for me for me to sit on a U.S. chair and tell me that that's necessarily been a focused hockey team. Sweden has had their issues as well. And just the high-end skill, the way that Macklin Celebrini has just seamlessly fit himself into the time, just unbelievable.
Isn't it fun to watch? I mean, and it's great. It was cool that he got a penalty shot moment. Love the shot of the dad there as soon as the dad
Rick, yeah.
stood up on the
Yeah.
screen. It's like yeah, you just that's classic dad look. And then afterwards, oh, there was never any done, was there?
Yeah.
No, it was yeah. Wow, I mean, amazing what that kid's doing. Thank goodness they took him on the roster. He's been a big impact.
Yeah,
And also, thank goodness that they brought Seth Jarvis as a last minute, because his boys, his buddies are having a hell of a trip out to Milan.
Yeah,
that's incredible too, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
he was a last minute replacement for Braden Point. We basically broke it as I was recording with Peter Labardias that was the change, and like for them to get out into Milan, I mean, they probably knew that there was a chance that would happen, but still getting that all together and getting there and just the kind of the fun that they're having, that was great. That was great. For sure.
So speaking of the fun, there's been a lot of talk. I don't know if I was drinking the Olympic Kool-Aid, but there's been a lot of discussion from broadcasters and media from all kinds of different places and outlets that the atmosphere in the arena has been very good. Amazing how it was just under construction, like hours before the thing even started for the women's tournament. And yeah, it looks great on TV, and the atmosphere is coming through nicely. And the ice quality to this point doesn't seem to be much of an issue, but hopefully that remains the case as we move into the quarterfinals here.
Yeah. And it's the other thing is I don't really feel like, well, there's been a couple of kind of players that have struggled. One that the internet is wrong about, but I think everybody's contributing in their own way. I mean, I think the blue line has been pretty solid. I mean, unfortunately, Parayko gave up that pizza to in France in the France game, but I think everybody else has been really good, and it's really hard to criticize this team going into the quarterfinal round here. Like but we're the internet, and we will find a way to do that.
Well, they're getting a rematch here with Czechia, and now, not that I'm concerned about it per se, but the Czechs have a little bit of some video and some intel perhaps from the first match to try to strategize off of. So Canada might need to roll out a few new ideas here just to make sure they don't give one up early and get themselves in a little bit of a sticky situation. But I mean, yeah. Are we glad it's Czechia or Denmark? Because Denmark, boy, they gave it a scare today.
Freddie put on a show. Like, he almost saved that. He almost stole the game for them for sure.
Denmark gave the Americans a pretty good run for much of their match there the other day too. So.
Yeah, well, let's kind of focus on the guy that has been a bit of a polarizing topic for a lot of people, especially after the Fiala hit, but really kind of the antics. Tom Wilson, first of all, let's start with the Fiala part. That's not with Sean. That's absolutely not that's a hockey play, not a dirty play, not a suspendable play. It's an unfortunate play, but that was not dirty. That's hockey. But
that's just anyone saying otherwise is just looking for attention.
Yeah,
or they're a fan of the LA Kings, I guess. I don't know. I mean, no, it's just sometimes these plays do follow us, or plays like this will come up with a guy that has a reputation, and then there's that knee-jerk reaction to it when it's not being looked at on its own merits.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But then it was the end of the France game, and he kind of admitted that he had to kind of check himself a little bit in that game. Or where are we with Tom Wilson? Because I will admit I was the one that was probably the most concerned that he was on this lineup, because I know that he can cross that line, and I guess we were worried about how it would be officiated. Has he been effective?
I think so. I don't know what his stats are exactly, but I mean, the only two things that are being questioned are barely questions about the Kevin Fiala play and a little bit of discussion around the play with the French player, which was in my mind justified. I mean, there was a run taken at one of Canada's best players, and Tom Wilson felt like he had to stick up for the team there. I don't think there's too many people bothered by that part of it.
I don't think he was looking for a fight there either, though.
Yeah.
Either.
No, I just wanted to send a response.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's been fine. Like he hasn't. I think his best addition was like being on the line with McDavid. As McDavid has not been afraid to throw his body around, and I think that partially is because he's got Tom Wilson on his line to help with that. So like I think that's his biggest addition, and he may not be on a line with McDavid and Celebrini come gold medal game, because I think we've got the nuclear deterrent of the Big Mac line, as I've heard it called. I think we need. It's just the unfair cheat code, but he'll still get some ice time there.
Yeah.
I would imagine they're the two things that are going to deter the Tkachuks from being the Tkachuks is maybe Tom Wilson, but the fact that you can throw that line out, and then you can throw a power play out with those three, Crosby and Makar, and maybe toss in a Sam Reinhart. Like John Cooper, by the way, he must feel like an Italian chef out there with all these wonderful food ingredients that you can just toss into the pan and just work. Holy smokes, is he having fun?
Yeah. Tom Wilson, a goal and 2 assists so far through the 3 games.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
I mean, he's not just there. He's contributing, and there's nobody else like him. The presence part still counts for something.
Yeah.
And I think he knew. I think that they had a talk with him about, okay, we know that you can cross the line, and I think he's been well aware of what he can, where he's going, and I think he knows his role, and he's just playing to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of his last Olympics, right? His last opportunity.
Oh, he won't be on the next Olympic team, no.
No.
He's not old, but he's on the older side, and there'll be others coming up that they'll bring in.
So Canada will be facing Czechia. Is there a scare here, or is there any worry about the Czechs?
They have a puncher's chance. Like if Canada plays the way they can, and we know that, and then they've shown in these first 3 games, they should win like they did. They should beat them like they did in game 1. But we've said this before against other times where it just doesn't go that way. Like even you look at the women, they only squeaked by Switzerland in the semifinal, even though they outshot them a bajillion to not very many. Lucas Dostal's got to stand on his head, and if he stands on his head and keeps the game close, who knows? But I think it's like I said, puncher's chance.
Yeah.
We had a couple of lineup situations. John Cooper did mention that Brad Marchand is going to need into the lineup. I should mention in practice today, or practice yesterday in Milan, Nathan McKinnon was absent. Sam Bennett was absent. But John Cooper did mention that Brad Marchand is going to get into the lineup here. Who are you taking out for Brad Marchand?
For me, it's either Suzuki or Seth Jarvis.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go Suzuki at this point myself.
No one's played bad, but that is
the thing. Like, how much do you really want to make changes? I mean, I think you got to have Brad Marchand in there.
Yeah, no one's played bad, but I think that when you look at who's been the least noticeable, it's Suzuki.
Yeah, that's my feeling on it too.
I'm kind of I have a hunch it will either be Bennett or Jarvis. Bennett was sort of the last. I haven't really felt Bennett has been that noticeable.
He hasn't as well, but he's been more noticeable than Suzuki, in my opinion.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that credit, though, for that is Suzuki's more of a center than winger. He hasn't played a lot of wing in his career, and he's playing wing now, and I think that's been a challenge for him. But all credit to Bo Horvat. He has come in, and he has done a really good job in that bottom six role, penalty killing role. I know that this is a bit of a sore spot for us Canuck fans, seeing him do those things in a team.
No, I'm happy for him.
That's pettiness of people.
That's more of that. I'm done with this like woe is me attitude towards like ex Canucks. I'm happy for him. Did they make the wrong choice picking JT Miller over him? Yes, but I'm happy for Bo Horvat. He deserves this.
Yeah, he does.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. But he deserves some credit. He's been really good. And also, I think, too, the line that's not getting a lot of credit, and it's the Crosby-Stone-Marner line. We haven't had this long conversation because Devin hasn't been on the podcast, but it's very clear that the Leafs miss Mitch Marner. There's no other way to argue that. Like, you can't argue that they don't. You can clearly see that Marner and Stone have this just tremendous chemistry. When Mitch Marner plays the way that he can, your team is just better. And that line has been really good too. So I almost don't know what they need from Marchand. I mean, but I guess you got to let him play. To me, it's probably going to be Bennett, Suzuki, or Jarvis that end up being out. And I think it'll be one of the three, but.
Yeah, you say that Crosby line has not gotten a lot of credit. I think it has. It's been overshadowed by when they had the Big Mac line.
You just love saying
and everyone's just looking. I don't know. It works. It's a pen because their names. It works. I love it. It's one of those perfect line nicknames. And then you have it's just. They're the shutdown line, the Crosby line's the shutdown line. Mark Stone, I don't know how he does it, but he gets the right spot at the right time and finds a way. When this line the roster was announced, I wasn't against having Mark Stone on this team, but I was just like that was one name I had sort of highlighted as a potential player that I wasn't sure on, but any doubts that I did have are gone. And he's someone who, again, I think they mentioned that when they was it 4 years ago when they pulled out of the Olympics because of the COVID and everything, he wasn't sure that he did get another chance.
Yeah,
and so he's taking full advantage of it and it's looking great.
Yeah. The blue line is, I mean, you allow 3 goals, it's 20-3, so the blue line doesn't get a lot of when it's like this. Your blue line doesn't there's not a lot of attention on the blue line. Any thoughts? I mean, now John Cooper said Josh Morrissey is going to get in the lineup. Who are you? I'm assuming that's Travis Sanheim, based on the ice time.
Yeah, I would think so too. If they even want to make the change, I would think that if Morrissey's 100%, he'll get in.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And when you look at the lines at practice again, it was Morrissey was back with Parayko. I think it's going to be Sanheim, and I think that if you want to say anything that's come out of this is that Thomas Harley looks not out of place and has been one of their better defensemen, and he was probably the one player who had the most questions on this blue line. whether or not he would keep his spot on this team after the Four Nations, and he is definitely been more than worthy of that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been good. Yeah, he's been good. Are any concerns about Jordan Binnington?
No,
No.
no, straight up. It's clear that it was Binnington's team going back the last year here, and as well as Logan Thompson played in the second game, which is good for him. It's nice to know they can turn to him if they have to. I don't see any changes happening with goaltending.
No, yeah, they're running with Binnington.
Yeah.
I think that's. I mean, yeah. I mean, I wonder here in terms of, I guess one thing I do wonder with Binnington, just going back into the NHL, like I think clearly the structure in St. Louis has really hurt Binnington as much as anything else, and they're playing a much better structure for him. Hopefully St. Louis takes notes. But as Peter Labardius has said it, I mean, Peter mentioned this, and it was a great point, because I said it was Sweden that had the best goaltending in this tournament. And he said, who's the one that won the gold medal? It was Jordan Binnington. Who's the one that won the Stanley Cup? It was Jordan Binnington. So John Cooper, Peter Labardius, two people that are clearly smarter than I am.
Well, as you said, it's the structure, it's the players in front of him. It was the 2014 in Sochi. Like, we had Carey Price in net for that tournament, but they could have had, like, they didn't need a top end goaltender with that team in front of him.
Yeah.
And you've got, I think that right now, the way Canada has played, yes, the Swiss and the Czechs gave them a little bit of work, but like right now, I'd say that it's not necessarily that Binnington's been the best goaltender, but the whole team's been just that damn good.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Seahawks with Sam Darnold. He does just don't make a mistake, and we got you.
Yeah.
Some other things that have gone on in the Olympics includes Pierre Cronin for France, who was suspended by the French national team for his antics. And the man has a history. He went after goaltenders. He's kind of if he played in North America, we would consider him a goon, but I don't know what they consider him in France. But he's faced a number. He has his antics going after a goalie this year too. So, but that being said, I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
If you're suspending a guy for the rest of the Olympics because he was playing to the crowd, like, I get it. It's like, is it against the spirit of the Olympics? Yes, but it's
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but there's some French media reporting that this guy is actually facing criminal charges over that incident, punching the goalie in the face back in November. I don't know for sure which teams were involved, but apparently the public prosecutor of Grenoble has decided to move forward with those charges. So perhaps the French Federation felt like they maybe had to do something in light of that possibility hanging out there. But I just saw that today. So they have a different view on violence on hockey in France, clearly. And that's up to them.
Yeah. I think I froze out there for a second, but yeah. Let them make that decision, I guess. Oiler fans got a little upset at Matthew Tkachuk again. What's
really?
new? Well, I was commenting.
He wasn't even that amazing of a chirp.
Well, I was
It was low-hanging fruit.
I was kind of joking that Leon Draisaitl was being pissy on the German bench because he was trying to like explain plays and he was just talking with a lot of passion. I'm like, Draisaitl being pissy there.
Yeah.
And then it got viral that Matthew Tkachuk said one's always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And Oiler fans are already have held kind of this grudge against they feel that this Florida team is dirty. Some Oiler fans feel that way. Other Oiler fans are really upset about the way that Florida celebrated their cup win with getting there was a lot of Oiler suck on a lot of that camera video. I kind of understand where Oiler fans are coming from because it's Matthew Tkachuk living rent free, but I also don't know if it was the greatest chirp that Matthew Tkachuk ever made. And we got to be honest here. Can we just say there's probably worse chirps that never get on air?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
God, yeah.
No, much more coarse language and questionable ethics around chirps than that one. Definitely.
We had stronger language in curling during these Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it's low hanging fruit. And the only way to, but it's fair game. Like having the Seahawks win the Super Bowl is fantastic. But one of the underrated things is one of my buddies is a Chiefs fan, and now I can tell him to shut up with his like chirps about having Super Bowl rings when the Seahawks have the most recent one. Like it's just like the only way to shut those chirps up is to win. And until you do, it's still fair game. Being all upset about it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but that Oiler community just defends their own with the piss and vinegar. Like that's kind of like the Canuck fans do with their own. The Oiler fans defend their own.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's just I get why they're upset. I think from like a lot of Flame fans are applauding. Like, look, I will stand by it. He was absolute dog shit against the Oilers in 22. Flat out dog shit. He was horrendous. Nobody could tell me different. He yapped at Evander Kane. Kane punched back, and he did nothing after that. Did he win a couple of cups, and he's got a couple of cups behind him? Yes. All the credit to him, but he was dog shit against the Oilers in 22.
Well, we went back earlier and talked about focus. I mean, if that's the focus of Matthew Tkachuk, I mean, they got a lot of tournament left in front of them and the possibility of a rematch against Germany. I mean, Germany's got Slovakia in the quarterfinals. You never know.
Got to get past Sweden first.
So U.S. has got Sweden. Like, I mean, there's a lot that has to happen here. And if the United States isn't standing on the top of the podium at the end of this whole thing, there's people going to be throwing that in Matthew Tkachuk's face. So, and low-hanging fruit is correct, but also really, not necessary to have those be the headlines when you're playing against a team you're supposed to beat.
Yeah,
that's the other thing is they're supposed to beat Germany.
Yeah.
But that's Matthew Tkachuk's game. He always gets into other players' kitchens and grills and just gets on their nerves. Like that's his game. So like, why are we surprised?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
The other story was the rink. The dimensions for one, the board colors the other, and of course Jeremy Swayman had the Tommy Salo moment of the Olympics, unfortunately, with the goal that went in.
Didn't cost him the game though, but yeah, a center ice goal. And the wrapping, there's no ads at the Olympic tournament, but the wrapping is, it's got the Milano Cortina color scheme and the logo and such, but it's very dark. And it sure looks like from the different camera angles that we saw on that goal that he gave up against Denmark, that the puck was hidden in the dark part of the boards, and if you don't pick that up right away from that distance, you might look silly. That has been changed here, I think, yesterday or leading into the games today. That got changed.
Yeah, halfway through the Olympics, they usually change those the wraps on the boards out, just because there's so much hockey being played on it.
Yeah.
And so after the feedback, they did lighten the shades of the blue.
And then, Kev, as far as the dimensions go, I mean, has there been any demonstrable effect on play? I
haven't noted. No, not to me.
I don't know.
Like,
Sean?
Yeah, I haven't noticed it in myself.
Because what was it? They got rid of it a little bit in the neutral zone. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I think Oh, and I think the only thing you noticed was like just maybe some timing on regroups, and that's caused a couple offsides. That's really it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The only dimensions that I've heard a lot about is how small the beers are at the arena,
or how easily projectile they are when the Swiss a frosty Swiss crowd against Canada. Hey, I mean that made it kind of fun. We forget everybody's hungry for a match against Canada. If you're the rest of the world, Switzerland's not far from Italy. You saw, I mean, they showed it on the broadcast on Friday. There was a lot of Swiss fans there and not happy with the officiating. And Mike Johnson received a couple of beers in his camera wall there between the benches.
Yeah, he took it in stride. That was pretty good. Cheryl Pounder had then said, "I am wearing this blazer, and you'll know why."
No, and Swissies were yeah, like I say, frosty's the word for it. How that went on Friday.
Yeah.
Anything
else we want to kind of chime in here about the men's Olympics, and then we'll touch on the women's Olympics here?
No. So
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Who do you want to win out of Sweden and the States?
Ooh. I mean, I think it's the possibility of a Canada-U.S. final lingering with the seeding as it is still the more interesting, more fun matchup. But you know, I mean, Sweden. Come on, Sweden, figure it out.
Yes.
Right?
As a hockey fan, yes, I want Canada-U.S. Yeah. As a Canadian, how amazing would it be to see the States flame out in the quarters?
It would be something. I mean, wouldn't it be great from a selfish Canuck fan point of view too if Elias Pettersson had a great game for Sweden here and helped the Americans, right? So that would be great. But yeah, I just think that'll be an interesting one tomorrow for sure.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I got to do this. The micro criticism on Pettersson in this tournament by the Canuck fan base is ridiculous. Can we please let the gentleman play hockey? Just let.
I'm afraid, Kevin, with that contract, this is always going to dog him. It just is.
Until he's.
But it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kev. But until he actually starts putting up couple 100-point seasons, there's going to be people who are going to just have it out for him, and including people in the media who just want to nitpick and be grumpy old men about it. Even though, guess what? You're Canadian. You should be cheering for Canada, and then instead of just like nitpicking over that, like a player on Sweden. Like, come on.
Yeah. So just for everyone's benefit, the quarterfinals tomorrow. The first one's Germany-Slovakia at 3:10 Pacific time in the morning. Then the 7:40 Czechia-Canada at 9:10 in the morning. We got Switzerland and Finland. That should be fun. And then that Sweden-U.S. matchup we talked about just after noon Pacific time tomorrow. There's your quarterfinals.
I guess the question is, who do you think wins that game?
Who do you think wins? U.S. Sweden?
Yeah.
I mean, the U.S. should win it. Like, they just have the amount of talent that they have on that team. But like, Sweden's no knockover. Like they had like the one game against Slovakia that they just, or was it against Finland that they just didn't show up for, but they were good against
Germany?
Germany.
Not Germany. No, I'm not. I'm confusing groups here.
Who do they play today?
Sweden played.
Let's see.
Sweden played Latvia today.
Latvia, yeah. I know it's Latvia, but like it's I think they've got they still have enough talent to pull it out if they need to. Like if they play well, right?
Yeah.
So US should win it, but I wouldn't. It's not a big upset if Sweden does. Like that, yeah. Sweden may be the 7th seed going into the quarterfinals. So that's the thing. The other thing we have to remember is if Sweden wins and Canada wins, it's Canada-Sweden in the semis.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I think the other thing with Sweden that is just so interesting to me is Gabriel Landeskog is their Marie-Philippe Poulin. Like, I just feel like he is the guy. Like, I don't believe you want to let that man down in any way, shape, or form, especially what he's come back from. I do wonder if that becomes. I think if this is a closer game than people think, I wouldn't be surprised if Sweden wins. I really wouldn't.
No, they need to get off to a good start, obviously, but I mean, it's a team that's completely made up of NHL players, just like the American team. So you've got that pedigree and the style of play and the familiarity with your opponents and all that kind of stuff that goes into it. Very possible.
Yeah. Sure. Let's get to the women. Let's start with Marie-Philippe Poulin, who, like, there's very few hockey players I respect more than Marie-Philippe Poulin. Maybe Sidney Crosby, Chris Tanev are maybe amongst that list of the highly respected where I would put Marie-Philippe Poulin. Just the way she comes through. She is nowhere near 100%. You can clearly see that she's nowhere near 100%, but she breaks the record for goals by Haley Wickenheiser in the game against Switzerland. We can't sugarcoat this. This U.S. women's Olympic team has allowed what, one goal in this entire tournament. Mm-hmm. They have completely dominated this tournament. It is theirs to lose, but the fact that Canada has Marie-Philippe Poulin and the U.S. doesn't gives me the hope that we can still win.
I think it really is going to come down to that. I mean, that really. She wasn't able to play the preliminary round match, and you saw how it went. Was it 5-0 was the score? I mean, major factor. Still think the Americans are the favorite in that as well. But look, this is the gold medal game. There's been a lot of past history where the Americans will win the other games and win the world championships. But when it comes to these games, Canada has dominated Olympic gold medal games over the U.S. So we'll hope for a good performance, and MPP is probably going to have to throw the team on her back again to get us there.
Yeah, the Americans went with a younger team. A team full that has something to prove a little bit, but with youth comes inexperience, and sometimes you don't. Canada with Poulin's she is Captain Clutch, so I think it's I don't think it will be a blowout the way the last few games between these two teams have been. I think it'll be a lot closer.
Yeah.
All three of the last Olympics have been 3-2 final between these two. And I think I'll be surprised if it's not a 1-goal game, honestly. Canada's got enough experience and everything. And now that they know how Abby Murphy, how she plays, they can sort of game plan around that and make sure that they're not get in the officials' ears early in the right way to maybe hopefully she can her embellishment and acting won't create too many power plays.
Yeah.
Of the 7 head-to-head meetings between these teams in the Olympic gold medal game, Canada is 5-2 going back to 1998. You know, remember 2006, as Americans didn't even reach the gold medal game in that one. So Canada has history on its side. We'll go with that. We'll lean back on that for now.
They have to be. Canada has to be crisper than they have been in this tournament. There's no debate that just passes are off. Getting the puck out of the zone is off. They don't seem as connected as they have been in the past, but it's one game. And if you can just figure it out, I don't think that this is the swan song for me for Poulin. I think she's still going to play for a while, but yeah. Couple of other things just to quickly touch on. I think everybody is looking forward to the future of a James Duthie, Kevin Bieksa, Elliot Friedman Hockey Night in Canada panel. I think that this is, and I don't think that Cassie and Cheryl Pounder have done a bad job. I think both of them have done a really good job. I think complete kudos to Kenzie Lalonde has done a fantastic job. Play-by-play.
I'm a huge fan of Cheryl Pounder. I think she's. I think she's the best female broadcaster that has come out of that generation. I know we've got Jen Botterill, who's been absolutely fantastic as well. But I just love Cheryl Pounder. I think she just she embodies like what I want from a broadcaster. More than, and I enjoy every time I listen to her and watch her.
Her enthusiasm just bursts through the television screen. That's what's great about Pounder. If there's one thing I would say about her, just a few last words would be all right. She's so enthusiastic, like like she's coming at you pretty intensely, but very knowledgeable. 8-time Olympic and world champion, so she knows her stuff. Obviously, our Claire Hanna doing a great job on the reporting on the women's side. The men's panel, though, when we first saw the news release and saw that it was going to be, and I think this is clearly part of the deal with TSN and Sportsnet allowing their talent to work at the Olympics, is that there was going to be some sort of equal representation of the two entities there. But you've got what is the best panel now. You've got Duthie on it, and you've got Kevin Bieksa on the same panel, and James is having so much fun. I mean, you could just see how much fun he's having. Does it offer us a glimpse into the future? I don't know. We don't know James's contract status. We do know Rogers has the hockey for the next 12 years after the season. Is he maybe wanting a change, and maybe when he's available, will make the jump, kind of like Chris Cuthbert did, stuck around with TSN for a while and then made the jump. It's hard to say. I don't see Ron McLean being a shoo-in for their coverage beyond this season. It'll be fascinating to see what happens there in the off season.
Yeah,
I do wonder why they haven't. There's been so much sort of talk about the panel and everything, and the presentation of the intermissions on Hockey Night in Canada, and I do wonder, like, they didn't really make any changes this year, other than bring Bieksa on more. I do wonder if they might just be waiting for the opportunity to throw some money at Duthie and have him make that jump.
Well, maybe this experience now and getting to work with some of these people may influence his choice a little bit.
Yeah, they're clearly having fun. It's great. And as far as the Olympics, one of my favorite moments, I don't know their names, but I just caught them yesterday, and what's the sport again? What are they calling it now? Because it used to be called ski jumping. What's the name of it now?
No, it was never called ski jumping, Kev.
Okay, I don't know. Freestyle ski.
It's freestyle skiing, big air.
Okay, because that's not the name I remembered it by when I was younger. But those two.
Well, yeah, it's because it's newer. This is a newer sport. I think you might be thinking aerials, which still hasn't happened yet. Yeah, This is an X Games introduction into the Winter Olympics.
those two commentators were fantastic for Canada. I just that's just how joyous they were that they won the gold, that Melody Oldman won the gold medal, like how they were just jumping, and Mikhail Kinsbury wins the medal, how they're so into it. Clearly Homer, they totally understand that their audience is Canadian and they embraced it. I thought that was so great for me. That was great.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
so-
forgetting the names of them, but they're both former Canadian Olympians themselves, so I can imagine.
Yeah, so it was
power.
Kaya Tursky is the one doing the the big air, and she's also been doing slope style as well, which is another freestyle skiing event. Mike Atkinson is the play-by-play doing that, and then again, yeah, and I think he was also doing it with. I'm looking at, yeah, and that's for that, and then the moguls one was awesome too, yeah, because you had an ex moguls guy doing it. Like that's what CBC they've done is they've brought in mostly ex athletes to come in and do the play-by-play for the for these games, or at least the color for these games.
Yeah.
And unless it's snowboarding, then you bring in Craig McMorris, brother of Mark McMorris, and he's fantastic too. So,
yeah. Any other fun Olympic moments?
Bootgate!
What? Oh, well, yeah.
Bootgate!
I know we've talked a lot offline about the men's curling debacle there between Sweden and Canada, but it's another sign in the evolution of that sport, how it used to be for ordinary people and amateurs, and there's a lot of gentlemanly conduct out there. And maybe it's gotten past the point where they can sort things out themselves, and now you got officials that are not really trained or experienced to resolve heated disputes, thrust into a spotlight at the worst possible time. I mean, to have this come up at the Olympics, it's really unfortunate for curling. I know it's probably brought more attention to the sport, but it certainly, the viral clip of Mark Kennedy hurling the F-bombs at Oscar Erickson is not a good look for anybody.
And I'll be honest, I'm probably I enjoy curling, but I had no idea that what he was doing was illegal. I had no idea about that. I didn't know about that rule.
The whole thing on that, the whole thing on that is like, yes, it's one of those like sloppy plays, like a sloppy high stick in hockey or a sloppy tackle in soccer, where it's not like you're actually trying to cheat, or which is what they kept. A lot of the word cheat got used a lot, and cheater and cheating got used a lot in this whole discussion because of the lack of nuance in the Swedish language. So like the word that that translates over to Swedish is fusk, which is cheater, and they use it to as a catch-all for all of that too. So that played into it as well. But yeah, how demonstrably Mark Kennedy responded to the passive aggressive comments from Oscar Erickson was just a bit over the line. But I mean, how many times have we heard heard it all on the hockey rink?
I mean, people that don't like the response have probably not been in too many contexts where their integrity is under attack and they're already in the heat of a competition. I mean, I think we would all feel a little explosive if that was being fired in our direction at that point of a competitive sporting event. Curling's a game where there's a whole bunch of new things in the rule book that are probably not strictly followed by everybody all the time. But if there's no demonstrable impact on the actual outcomes of the game, there's not much said about it. And now the door kind of got blown open here a little bit as to whether it really was an attempt to cheat, right? It's pretty clear that there was rule violations, but whether they had that level of impact of blatant cheating is where there's been a lot of debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, and then going back to favorite moments. I think Mikhail Kingsbury winning the first gold, and then the podium full of dads was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah. Well,
the dual logos is quite intense too.
And Kingsbury, I mean, getting Canada on the board with a gold medal. It's usually the second week of the Olympics where Canada seems to start picking up some steam in terms of medal count. And as of to this moment, Tuesday night, 3 golds, 4 silvers, 5 bronze, 12 medals total. Norway leading the way with 14 golds, 8 silver, 9 bronze, and 31 total. But it was looking a little underwhelming for Canada in the first week, but it's going better now.
Yeah.
Also, with that call, it was Philip Marquis, who is a former moguls. He went to the Olympics. And then former diver Alexander Despatie.
That's right.
Was the other one.
Right. Yes.
On that call. So, that one was awesome. That and just how excited they were, and even I saw the Anastasia. I'm gonna butcher her name, unfortunately. Bucic. Calling the gold medal from today, the long track speed skating team pursuit was fantastic as well.
Yeah.
And then if you haven't seen it, you go look at seeing why I draw a blank on her name? Calgary. But her mom was like mic'd up when after they won the gold, and she was speechless, and it was amazing. Like that's like as much as like this, it's about the athletes and their families. Like seeing all that, like even the figure skating and the one pairs team. You had the girls 44 finally getting to the Olympics. They didn't have a great short program, but they put on a pretty good free skate, and they were so proud of themselves. And then you had the other Canadian pair, the guy who when he was young, his I think his dad or uncle said that he would throw a puck on the ice if he got to the Olympics, and he did. So he was holding that. That's just that's the stuff that just makes you happy, and it makes you want the Olympics more. And that's why I was just so crushed when the Calgary decided not to go forward with the they would have gotten this or the 2030 Olympics had we had voted yes in that civic plebiscite. And it's a complete like strikeout whiff like on that for the city.
I think the city could have used it. I think the country could have used it. I agree with you. It was a mess.
Wonder if there would have been more momentum for that if it weren't for the World Cup happening this year. That seems to, that's already a big undertaking for a lot of. I don't know, Calgary's not part of it, but that's a big undertaking for.
This was before we got Canada got the World Cup. I believe is when that.
The history behind that is there was a lot of cost to it. And people just didn't want to pay for it, and the no lobbyists were a little bit more effective than the yes lobbyists. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, Nenshi was on the no side of that too. I can't remember if I'm right on that or not, but
I can't remember.
One other thing I'll touch on here just very quickly. There's been some talk about this, but the time of the gold medal game is 5:00 Pacific, 6:00 Mountain, AM, and Sunday morning. Look, we've done this before. We did this in 2014. We got up at 5:30 a.m. We all set our alarms to watch the game. We'll do it again. Because there's some people wanting it at prime time. It's just not. It's not feasible for that to happen. I mean, the 2010 Olympic Games were, I believe, in the afternoon before the ceremonies. This is the way they always do it. Like, It's the Canadian way. We just get up, have our breakfast, and watch hockey, the gold medal game. I don't know why we need to complain about this. Just suck it up, Buttercups.
I mean, I know Sean's going to speak to this. I mean, surely if there's a will, there's a way to kind of make some scheduling adjustments to get everything squeezed in. But yes, it is true. I mean, even in Vancouver, it was a very odd 12:15 p.m. local time start to get the gold medal game started, and then still have some kind of time between the end of that event and the closing ceremony. Now, maybe that was to get the closing ceremony at a good time, Eastern time, so they didn't want to delay the hockey any further. It's just how it is always going to be an issue, and it will be an afternoon hockey game wherever the games are being held in order for the closing ceremony to happen right after. And in this case, with the time zones, it doesn't work very well for us. Sean.
Yeah, this one, like, yeah, you had, like, in Vancouver, you had the hockey game in the arena, and then you had BC Place right next door where the closing ceremony was. This year, like, the closing ceremony is not even in Milan. It's in Verona, which is like 140 kilometers away. And you're looking at like a 6-hour difference between the start of the gold medal game and then the start of the closing ceremonies. I think I'm not asking it for it to be in prime time or even 3-4 hours difference from what it was. Just an hour later would have been fought. I think would have made so much more sense. Like, I'm in Mountain Time. I'm getting up at like for 6. You guys are in Pacific Time, and it starts at what, like
5?
Like, it's just, it makes, yeah, like, it's just like
I'm pulling an all-nighter for that one.
I mean, that's what most people did in Sochi during the 2014 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, yeah, we are going to get up and friggin' watch the game, of course. Especially if Canada's in it, as they should be. Like, yeah, we'll get up and watch it. But like, it's, I think, especially when you knew that the NHL and the players were going to do, like, specifically the Players Association were going to do everything they can to play in this. Like, and you know that's going to get the North American market. At least make it a little more palatable for the West Coast. Like, just an extra hour would have been, I think, ideal in terms of when you look at the time difference. And yes, you've got the closing ceremonies and everything. But that being said, we want, like, as the opening and closing ceremonies are the sort of the cherry on top of all these Olympic, like these Olympic games, and the drama and the circumstance and all the what we talked about earlier. Like, it's about the events and the families and all that. And I think it's to not have this game scheduled like just at least an hour later. I think it's just a little bit of a miss, in my opinion. That's all.
Yeah, I get your point, but I think there's some people that want it during their supper time, and I'm like, come on, like, really? Like, you're gonna make?
Oh, it's not gonna. I don't think. Look, I think Nick Alberga was the guy who put out the tweet that got everyone off in arms today. Let's just call him out on this one. And like, he even followed it up with an absolutely ridiculous tweet. So I don't know how serious he was about when he wanted this. He's like, might as well put the Super Bowl at like 9 a.m. Like, no, like I think, yeah, like I said, I think it's just like an hour and a half too early. And especially when, like, none of the hockey players are going to go to the closing ceremonies. You could literally go from the end of that game and then have a half-hour break and you can start the closing ceremonies. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Hour to half hour, depending on if there's any extra time or whatever. Right? So,
yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at. But
yeah,
go Canada!
Just
go.
wait. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same in 4 years too, because it's gonna be in France in 2030. Like, that's almost the same time difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are going to complain about time all the time. It's never perfect for everybody. So,
no,
well, there's probably always been complaints. We just haven't heard as many of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have a voice.
No,
Yeah. Anything else we need to talk about?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's going to be an intense few days ahead here with got the men's quarterfinals and then the women's final, and then we're into the men's semifinals, and then it's the bronze on Saturday and the gold on Sunday. It's just lots of hockey to watch here in the coming days.
At least it's good hockey. It's a welcome break for what we've been through for this year and what we're about to go through as we get back. Sorry, I'm being cynical, but we'll have to get back into all the trade chatter and who's doing what and this and then the lottery and all of that. So this is a great break. How do we follow everyone?
I'm BeardedConnect03. I will be kissing my lucky egg and looking for my lucky toonie.
On X, it's T-Noble, T-N-O-B-L-E.
Chris is Schneid's, SCHNEIDZ. Devin is Devin Holmes Smith on Instagram. I am KEVOLE on social media. All social media. So you can check it out for that. Yeah, as mentioned, we'll recap the Olympics, and then I sound like Sideshow Bob dating one of the Simpson sinners. We have to talk about the Canucks.
He sees it come up on the prompter, and he's just it's such a chore.
All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.